Kia ora whānau, and welcome to another episode of Get a Job and Get Healthy with Costas Enterprises. I am your host, Alex Costas. And yeah, I thought I'd address the elephant in the room. As you can see by the title, we're going to be talking about my redundancy. We're also going to be talking about the changes to Redbubble and how that's going to affect people. And also just in general, what I've been doing and what I plan to do over the next couple of weeks and months as I try to find a job myself, looking at the exact same things we've been talking about in this podcast, for example. So yeah, if you want to, you can reach out to me. You're welcome to ask me any questions. I'm pretty free and frank and pretty open. You can hear the rain and you can hear me driving. As usual, I shouldn't be doing this when I'm driving, but I am. So what are you going to do about it? First and foremost, you can contact me via my email, doncostas@gmail.com. That's DONCOSTAS@gmail.com. You can also find me at www.costasenterprises.business.blog. You can also find me at The Kiwi Don, both on Instagram and Twitter. And you can also find my partner and my self's candle business that we have, which is all coconut wax candles, at www.anyengarden.com. That's ANYENGARDEN.com. Or at the same time at Onion Garden Candles. Onion Garden _candles for our Instagram as well. So, redundancy. I sort of made an episode about this a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't advertise it. I just left it out there for people to find, and if they found it, because I was still waiting for everything to happen. But thought I'd give you a heads up that yes, I have been made redundant. Yes, I did get my payout. I'm not happy about what happened and the way it did happen. I'm going to be completely open and honest. I feel like they'd already made the decision before and didn't really take my consultation and my words into play. In fact, they didn't really look at it at all anyway. So it's one of those sorts of situations where if I wanted to put in a personal grievance, I could potentially do it, but there's no point. For those that aren't aware, in New Zealand we have these things called PGs, or personal grievances, where if you feel you have been sort of like put down by the employer and so forth, you can put in for a PG or a personal grievance, and then they take them to court and all that sort of thing, try to find, something. I do have potential grounds, but at this stage, I'm still not going to go with one. I kind of want to move on in my life. The main reason for the redundancy, they told me, was that my job can be done by YouTube and Google, as I was an IT trainer. I'm going to call it straight. I think that's absolute bullshit. And I feel like the place where I was working is going to struggle quite considerably, given that there is no training there at the moment anyway. So, yeah, I feel like it's a bit of a disservice to the people that I used to work with. But can't do anything. The decision was made by my boss and her boss. So, yeah, we just got to go through, do what we can. What I did find out, which was quite interesting, so as I said, my job was, basically taken away from me because they're saying that automation can semi-do my job, because there's already things on YouTube, there's already things on all that sort of stuff. And that's a bit of a shame, I'm going to be honest. What really, what basically drove, there were a couple of factors that led up to the redundancy, which I wasn't happy with. One was putting me into a different team where I didn't really have enough time to make my consultation, and basically felt like I was just already getting pushed out without being pushed out. Then not extending me with the team that I was moved to work with to help, because they wanted me to finish up what I was doing. But the thing that really, really hit the nail on the head was at my farewell. I did have an actual farewell, and because I'd been at the place where I'd been for a while, almost 16 years, like literally 2 weeks before my 16 years. Today would have been my 16 years at the place I was, which is kind of the reason why I'm doing the podcast today. And yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But at my farewell speech, and I think this is a bit, I think this was a bit in poor taste, and I don't think the manager thought this through properly. But what happened was I gave, they gave a speech and stuff, and my manager chose to use ChatGPT, an automation tool, to design a farewell speech for me. Now, given that my role was effectively being taken away because of automation, I kind of felt that was in poor taste. The fact that I'd worked with this manager for over a year also gave me the vibe that if they couldn't even think nicely about me to make a speech, and to have to use ChatGPT to do it, I felt that was a bit of a I felt that was a bit of a kick in the guts, considering all the other stuff that sort of happened as well. It was a bit. It was like that final nail in the coffin. Like, it's like that's why I was like, look, I'm glad I'm gone now. If that's the case, I'm still not happy that I'm gone, but I can't do anything about that. It's what's happened. Let's put it that way. So now, let's progress to the next sort of thing. Did I get my money? Yes. Out of the money that I was owed around about. I'm not gonna give the exact number, but around 70 to 75,000, which of course was the taxable amount. So in hand, I got about 55 around there, 53 to 55,000, and that is inclusive of my almost 2 weeks of annual leave, which I had saved up, almost 3 weeks actually, and also some overtime as well. So I actually got taxed about $24,000, which is a bit of a bugger. So the tax rate they taxed me because of my money that I'd earned the year before, or still within the same financial year, means that I would have got taxed basically at the highest tax rate of 33%. Less than ideal, but you can't really do anything about that, unfortunately. So as I said, I'm still not happy about what happened, but it did happen. So unfortunately, people have to go through these things, and now we'll sort of talk about where I'm going to go to, what I'm going to do from now. Because of the timeline, I didn't have enough. I told you guys before about having affected status. But being completely open and honest, with the timeline that they gave me, there was no way I was going to get a job at my current employment within a month's time, because that's the only time that I actually had to find a job using affected status. Now, affected status is a nice thing to have if you get it, but given the time that I was working in the other role, and how exhausted I was from doing that other role, there was no way I was going to get a chance to actually fulfill what I wanted to do. So what do I plan to do now? Well, I'm taking a month off, and I told you guys that I am, trying to clean up my house. My mother passed away earlier this year, which is just another fun time for me. Oh, sorry. So I have to sort of clean the house and try to get rid of all the shit that we got, because we do have a lot of stuff, and this is the stuff that was there from sort of my place, mum's place, dad's place, and my partner as well, who doesn't have very much at all. So we've got to go through all that stuff and just start getting rid of it. So I'm going to take a month off to do that. Unfortunately, I am a bit sick at the moment, which means things for the first 2 weeks I'm basically fucked. And I haven't had a chance to do half the stuff that I wanted to. So I might do it for, maximum 2 months. And then I'm going to start applying for jobs. I'm going to look for trainer jobs as I look. And the other thing that I'm looking at as well is I might even be a contractor. and become a contracting trainer. So that's something that I kind of want to get into. I like the flexibility of it. It is a complete, change for me if I do decide to do it this way. And, I've still got a lot of questions of my friends in regards to that, because it is something that is completely new to me. I haven't had to work for myself much before, apart from the stuff that I've been doing on the side. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm also trying to make those things on the side a bit more profitable and make it a bit more like something that I can actually do now instead. So, actually devoting my time to the actual what I've been talking about the last couple of years with this podcast. That includes things like taking on the askables, taking on the, doing more passive income. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that I'm thinking. I'm taking some time for me as well, because in the last 20 years that I've almost worked, I haven't really had a proper break. Like, I haven't had like a month off just to go, what the fuck am I doing? Is this what I want to do with my life, and all that sort of stuff, which is kind of what I'm doing with this stuff as well. And yeah, it's been a bit interesting. Unfortunately, I have been a bit sick the last couple of days, which hasn't helped. Unfortunately, I told you guys about my gastro problems. Those have sort of come back with a vengeance, and it makes things very, very hard, because some of the stuff that I want to do is clean properly and get things out of there, but that's been very, very hard to do. So yeah, I'm going to look at it. I'm still keeping in touch with people at my old workplace. Like, it's like, despite what happened, I don't blame them. I don't blame my ministry. I blame pretty much the person that was the former head, who left, and then my manager at the time. So yeah, it's one of those sorts of ones where I can't hold my industry responsible for that, but it is what it is. Now, one of the things I talked about was the passive income stuff. So one of the things that I have been talking about before is, of course, Redbubble. However, Redbubble have had some massive changes over the last sort of 10 days. And I'll be completely open and honest, I do not know if Redbubble is now going to be a viable thing. The reason I say that is quite simply, Redbubble have introduced a new tier system where you pay for a tier. However, they don't set how the tiers are created, how you're put in those tiers. They say it's basically due to sales, but, at the moment I'm in the standard tier, but I've heard stories of people that, make quite consistent sales, and they're more than, they're in the higher tiers and all that sort of stuff, and other ones are in standard as well. The other thing that Redbubble are doing is they are actually taking more money out of your pocket. So before, they were pretty high priced items anyway, and if you were making a profit, you weren't making a lot. Now it's getting even worse. They're basically, for the people that are in the standard tier, they can be taking up to 30 to 40 to 50% off your profits, meaning that, when you, like, say for example, if you sold something and usually you would get like $4 for that item, or $5 for that item. Now you might only get $2 for that item, making it very, very hard to sell those items without lowering your cost. Your cost. Just not going to work, because you're not going to make money, because they're going to take more money out of you. So the question is, do you higher price items and try to just sort of list higher items, or do you leave the platform? Like, if they're going to start charging us, then what's the deal about that? And they haven't actually given prices out on mine, so I come up as just standard tier. Funny thing is, I have actually made a sale in the last week. Basically, I sold a pillowcase of all things, and I made about $10 US profit off that. So I'm assuming that when the payments come round, I'm probably going to be looking more at like $5 out of that, because Redbubble will take about half price. Now, if you are lucky enough to be making, close to $500 a month in sales, then you will only lose like 92%, which is basically $92. So basically a fifth of your potential earnings. So they've capped it for the people that earn more, which, means that people want to earn more. Now, a lot of YouTubers that are talking about this, they're saying they're leaving the Redbubble, they're leaving this. I think it's something that I'm going to hold on to just for a little bit. My main reasoning for that is because everyone else is, if all these other people are leaving Redbubble because of that exact reason, then that means that the art that's going is going to get taken down, and there's going to be a need for art that's there. So my stuff will hopefully become a bit more, lucrative. Now, yes, they may be taking, it's one of these sorts of situations where I can see why Redbubble are doing this, but at the same time, I think they've done it in a wrong way. That said, it doesn't necessarily mean that's a negative thing. A lot of people are thinking it is going to be negative because of, they're taking more money and all that sort of stuff. So, well, just price your stuff higher if you're going to, and then they take, they'll still take more, but you'll still get the same average and all that sort of stuff. So it's things like that you have to consider, but you also have to think with the influx of people leaving Redbubble because of this. Redbubble could be using this opportunity to potentially scale out a lot of their issues, which were their copyright. So they had a lot of stuff that was basically, ripped off stuff. And, it might be someone doing a Stranger Things or Netflix-based things before they even had their agreement with Netflix. So it's very, very... it's going to be very, very interesting to see where this goes. Now, Redbubble have gone down in their price share, and everyone's like, oh, well, this means that they're doing whatever they can to make money. And hey, look, it's a business. I get it. I understand. And a lot of people are upset. But does that mean that you only have to stay on just Redbubble? No, you've got other ones that you can go to as well. You can go TeePublic, you can go Society6, you can go Threadless, you can go to all these other ones as well. So I think it comes down to the fact that people are going to go, if they stay with Redbubble, then, they may, because of the amount of people that would be leaving, you may do yourself a better service if your stuff is up to scratch. Like your actual designs have to be good. They have to be, you have to be generating some sort of sales. And look, I don't have a lot of sales, but I do have some sales, and I think it's worth me just trialing it out while I look at other options as well. The other thing I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start focusing a bit more on the candle business as well. Like, I'll be honest, I don't help out as much as my partner wants, and that's what I've literally tried to start doing the last couple of weeks, including things like, updating the websites and stuff that I should have done from the start, but I didn't. And just basically trying to put my stamp on it, because we are doing quite well in the candle business. I'm also planning on creating some new materials for you guys. I may or may not list these on Etsy, so they won't be free. But at the same time, they will be heavily reduced compared to what you would normally pay if you were to get a recruitment specialist. So yeah, I think it's going to be one of those ones where I might try my hand at Etsy for the first time. And sort of try to do the digital downloads that way as well. It's basically looking at everything that's out there and what I can do to try and make my way. At the end of the day, as I said, I'm not happy about the redundancy, but onwards and upwards. If we don't have that sort of mindset, then we'll never get through. But at the same time, I'm not going to use this as an excuse to become a victim. I'm going to use this as an excuse for me to get my ass into gear and actually start doing what I talk about a bit more. Thank you for everyone that has been listening. I love the support and all that sort of stuff that I've been getting for the Sharesies episode that I had last time. I will probably do a couple more of those. There's some other cool things that have happened with Sharesies in the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to sort of cover those as well, probably next week. I do apologise for not getting an episode out there. I did need some time to collect my thoughts. I had a lot of anger. And while the anger is still there, it's definitely subsided a lot more. But yeah, I hope everyone has a fantastic day. I love you guys as always, and always, good luck, and I love you, and that does it for this week's episode. Have a great one, and hopefully I will be back next week for you guys. Love you guys, and good luck.